All right. It's getting shadowy in this book. Hence the shadowy way the black and white that I've been using. Man, I have found a little bit of time the last couple afternoons or evenings, I guess I should say. I found some time to rip through some of this stuff. Now, I haven't been able to do it quite the way I have been with Memories of Ice and with House of Chains, where I've gone very, very slowly through. I have until the last couple evenings. Now, because I've done that, it's been at my own. I know I'm missing some of the stuff that I would love to get to. But there are times when you are reading where you just think, I gotta get through this. I gotta get through this because I'm so excited. And that is what has happened to me here. I have been able to get all the way up to chapter 21, I think. So these are just my thoughts at this point. I still have, I think, 4 chapters to go. Just take a look. So there's my bookmark right here. Almost there. Almost there. Now, some of the things that have happened in this, some of the things have really clicked. Some of the things I know would click, but maybe just wasn't totally the story that I was hoping for. For example, one of the big themes has been power and ambition and greed and cultural clashes. Now, I'm always there for the cultural clashes, but when it came to the examination of the Letheri kind of kingdom and sort of examining this greed at any cost, and also kind of, I know it's supposed to be sort of like a mirror for our own Western society, I'm sure, and just a personal mirror as well. That's great. That's great, and it really did a good job with it, especially with the punishment system and the slavery system, and it really reminds you of some of the moments in Rome. But it isn't why I wanted to read this book. I wanted to read it because I wanted to get to more Troll. But it was good. It was good. Another thing that it seems to examine in this book, and it does this with all of them, but when it has to do with the tiles or the deck of dragons and things, sort of has to do with fate. There's this fatalism that sort of kind of is present within this, where you see the deck of dragons and you can kind of get this order, and then you see it play out. And in this one especially, we've seen that play out. I've appreciated the family dynamics and the family problems. It's been in all the families so far. All these issues with the Perrin family, that was a tragedy. We have the Sengar family, which my heart just kind of goes out to them. I don't want the Sengars to be just totally ruined, but this is just going down a terrible path. I'm thinking of the end of House of Chains with that epilogue. I'm thinking of Troll and Onrak's promise, his vow, or whatever it was, his kind of binding to Troll. I don't want Onrak, as much as I want Onrak to do some work. I'm excited for that. I don't want Onrak to die, and I don't want Onrak to kill any of Troll's brothers. Unless it's Rulad a few times. Which, I guess I shouldn't want that. The more I think of Rulad, the more I think, man, maybe he's due for one of these magic stones on his chest. So he just chills there, stops being killed, and is just stuck there in stasis. The more I kind of figure out some of what's going on in this book, the more maybe some of that might make sense a little bit more. We've found the death of the Azath house, which has also kind of maybe created this hold of death, which hasn't been there. And that's why all these spirits and things have been kind of not able to move on or kind of stuck within the bodies of either who they were when they died, or have kind of moved on to other ones or something like that. But I'm glad that there was a cool sort of start at an explanation to that with this hold of death. I'm obviously interested in this hold that the crippled god is over or whatever, but it's this hold of death as well, which is super interesting. Just found out that Rulad flooded the Nascent. I was wondering what was going on with that. So we are just getting up to the start of the prologue of House of Chains. Now he used that by he's getting involved with this other demon conflict or something in that realm or that world, and he's using a river to flood this world that he's at. Very interesting. And very interesting. Now, the ships that are there, I'm thinking of them. Are these all these Edur ships as they are trying to go find people that are worthy for Rulad to fight over and over and over? I mean, go offend a Segula. Do that, and you'll die a few times. Seems like a likely thing to do, or a thing that would make sense. I'm waiting for that to happen. Unidus. Did I say that right just now? Udinus. He's more and more becoming Rulad's main guy. His trusted counselor. I hope he does right by him. In the sense that I hope he does, he helps Rulad. He helps Rulad in a way that is satisfying to us. Very interesting. He kind of thinks that he might get a special position in this new empire. Who else do we have? We have the Crimson Guard. We have this Ice Nail, or what the heck is his name? Ice Bolt? No, that doesn't. Dang it. Iron Bolt. Iron bars. Is it even iron bars? That sounds right. Okay, I'm going to go with iron bars. Iron bars. No, not even iron bar. Dang it. Hate this stupid book. Just kidding, I don't. Okay, one of my very favorite parts, maybe a top 5 part in all of the series so far, is when he just casually goes through with Saren and he kills Rulad and is like, oh man, this armor was a little wild. And he just breaks his neck going past. Man, holy smokes. And when Saren is talking about the Emperor dying, and he's like, I think, he kind of puts 2 and 2 together, and it's like, I don't need any powerful people after me. I thought that was just like my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the series. He just goes through and just kills him for death number 2. Now, what is going to be, how many deaths are we going to get? I'm going to guess for the end of this book, maybe 5 more deaths in the next 120 pages. Seems like a lot, but I guess it probably will have something where it's like 100, and it just is like, and he died 100 more times. Okay, we have Everything Awakening, which is also linked with this ice, this magic that has been has put everything into stasis, as far as I can kind of understand it, is connected with this ice, which also there's like a fire warren in the Omtos Falak or something. So I thought it was just very separate. It's interesting how things kind of mix. And they've talked a lot about that in the start of chapter 21, which I do need to go back to and maybe read more slowly. But Everything's Awakening, and it sounds like this Toblakai, not Toblakai from before, not Karsa, but this Toblakai that has woken up is already busy just killing everyone, which is wild. Kettle has part Forkrul Assail in her, so don't mess with her. What else? The king doesn't want to leave. He just wants to stay there. He's probably going to get his butt kicked. The queen's been captured. The prince has been captured. I still am unsure about Hull. I liked T-Hole. I do like T-Hole. And Bug, because I love Bug. I love Bryce. He might be my favorite Sengar brother, which is probably not the most common. I don't know. Maybe that's everyone's favorite Sengar. I'm sure T-Hole is or Tail or whatever. I'm sure T-Hole is everyone's favorite, which I do. I like him too, but I'm most kind of interested in what's going on with Bryce for the most part. Hall, though, I think, man, when is this guy gonna die? Not that I want that to happen, but yeah. This sword that Rulad has is very interesting. I wonder who its previous owner was, because isn't it made from fragments of another sword or something? You know, I've been reading through it quite quickly, but isn't this the part where it says maybe, or maybe it was a different sword, but because they had it or something, that meant like the owner of it was still around? What was that thing that it was talking about? I don't even know if it was a sword. Or if it was this one or something else. But I thought that was really cool. But I was just on a roll, and I can't remember now. I'll remember it as soon as I stop recording. Yeah, but very interesting. Troll has this lilac demon around. And again, I think Troll. You know, everyone is following Rulad, but kind of not. They kind of know he's a psycho, following him because if they don't, they'll get their butts kicked. Interesting that Rulad would be the one chosen over this Hanan Mosag, which seemed to have everything together and probably was this warlord, whatever, for long time. But this broken, unbloodied Rulad, I just love that he's the one chosen for his. He could probably be very, he's probably very impressionable. Even when he thinks he's being hard-nosed, he's probably playing right into the crippled god's hands. Man. I love, something that I do love about this, because I've been thinking about it for the few years while I've been developing my own thing. And I know I keep mentioning that, but it's just the context of also things that are on my mind. I love that it talks about time, and this is an examination of time. I love that it examines lost histories, which are kind of subject to time. I am obsessed with the passage of time and everything that we lost at the collapse of the Bronze Age and other dark ages. But I'm so interested in seeing these things pieced together, and we get these little fragments over here and different understanding of the same sorts of things Sometimes some of the names mix, and I love putting that together. And that is, uh, it examines both people who are short-living mortals. Obviously, they wouldn't have a full conception of time, but it's also dealing with people who were there a long time ago and maybe don't have a perfect understanding of how things were, even though it is kind of past. Now, that is also something that I've been trying to examine, that part, almost a part of this magic system that is in mine, without saying too much, has to do with people kind of being in this stasis where it kind of just extends. And I've always been obsessed with time. I remember my first day in grade 1. I don't remember lots of days in grade 1, but I do remember my very first day. I remember getting dropped off. I remember a girl named Crystal in front of me. I still remember the little things in her hair. I remember my desk. I remember a couple of my friends from kindergarten were there. A couple of my other friends that were kind of neighborhood sort of friends, or friends that I just had before. And I remember everyone talking, and I remember looking at the analog clock in the corner. And I remember thinking, I don't know how to read that, but I don't want to be here. I've been dropped off. I want to go home now. And I don't know how to read it, but I know that that is the clock that people look at, and that's when I'm going to be able to go home at some point on there. So I remember looking at it, and it was like hieroglyphs for me. Obviously, I knew the numbers, but I was like, I don't know this thing that has to happen. I don't know where things need to point for when I go home. But I learned that very quick. And, time has always been my subjugator. Meaning I just had no patience. No patience. I remember every day just looking at the clock, even from day 1. I would go to these music recitals and things, and as soon as I sat down, I'd have the program, and I would be looking at how many stinking songs would be left, because I just wanted to go. I couldn't stand sitting there longer than I needed to. Time, my ultimate subjugator. So having a rock on me and just being stuck there, wondering how long that was going to happen, kill me. Holy smokes, it would just kill me. Not so much anymore. I have a lot more patience now, for the most part. But I love that time is examined. And it's not, I don't think it's examined in a way that's like time travel. But everything's kind of melting, and it's almost like these things from all these different times might sort of just kind of show up, which is super interesting. Anyway, now I am rambling, but I think, the Kachin Chamal, kind of like the dinosaurs. Then we have these different levels of, you have the Tistan D, we have the Talanai Mass, which I'm still very fuzzy about this kingdom. It's just so interesting to see all these people from these different times. Some frozen. We have the Jagat, and we have them now all interacting here. And who knows what's going to happen when all this melts? People are waking up from being dead. Kettle has a heartbeat. How cool is this series? Anyway, hopefully this was okay. Those are the things I'm interested in for the rest of this book, or for where I'm at right now. What I'm looking forward to, I want to get to where I want to, obviously, and I've mentioned it a bunch of times, I want to get to the epigraph in House of Chains. I want to see, this is what he's telling them, right? I'm excited to get to that. I'm excited to get to some kind of resolution with what happens if they show up to this first throne and Trull is there and Onrak and these bone casters, and we have all these shadow assassin kids, I guess. Like there's just so many things that can potentially clash. One of the things I love, some of the secret sauce of this series, it is found in those kind of clashes. And like the partnerships are very strong, where there's main characters, often two characters that are like T-Hole and Bug, Talk and Tool, Talk and or Tool and Kalava, Whiskey Jack and Corlat. All of these people that I think of, Gruntle and Stani, these favorite people that I have, they are favorites of mine because of their relationships, and they're sometimes clashing with others. Kalor and the Elder Gods, these three. Favorite part in the series. I love that part in Memories of Ice. So there's those good relationships and bad clashes. These clashes of Edur and Letheri. These clashes of the Whirlwind Rebellion and the Malazan Empire, the Panian Daman. There's just amazing clashes. And within that, there are amazing kind of relationship moments, which can sometimes be filled with conflict, often are filled with conflict, but sometimes can be very beautiful and nice. That moment in Memories of Ice where Crone offers to try to help the Maiba. It's just a small thing, and it's a beautiful moment. And it didn't even really need to be there, but it's awesome. It's just filled with these kinds of moments. That's why I've put down my highlighter and my pen, and I just kind of went for it. So I imagine we have a long weekend here up in Canada. I don't know if it's everywhere. But I imagine I have some stuff I have to take care of tomorrow, but for sure, probably on Saturday and Sunday, I bet I'll be finish this book. And then that'll give me some time to finish The Way of Adan while I'm waiting for Bone Hunters, which I'm going to go right into. And if you would like, I will do some sort of live wrap-up thing sometime, because it's fun to interact with you guys. And I will see you soon. Whenever that's going to be. I might have 5 more videos tonight, but I don't plan on it.